Okay, part 3 of chapter 5, starting on page 129, where it says Classroom Comparisons, Teacher-Student Interactions. We've talked about the structure-based instruction versus communicative approach, and there's a term here, genuine questions versus display questions. And genuine questions are, what's your opinion of something, what type of sports do you like, personal type questions, personal information. And I'm just asking genuine questions as opposed to display questions where I know the answer already and I'm just kind of using it to practice the language, such as, which character in this book, is the friend of John? And I'm just asking these type of almost like comprehension questions, just looking for information and looking for answers. And the traditional classroom, most of the questions from the teacher are display questions, where I'm just testing the student and trying to get them to give me information and form sentences. And so we want to encourage more genuine questions, I guess you could say, where we really ask the students personal questions and makes them think more, use their head, and critical thinking too, especially if they're forming their opinion of something, like which side they're on. The example was a card. The teacher gave the students a card, and you write what bugs you on it. So the students all write what bugs them on the card. That sounds like a great activity to me. And also it teaches them the idiom bug as well. It's a bother. I've done other things with cards, like when I want to practice giving advice, like should, then I'll have the students write a problem they have on a card, like, I want to lose weight, or I want to quit smoking, or I'm homesick. And then I collect all the cards and then redistribute them and have the students write, oh, you should, go on a diet, or you should try this. And it's kind of a fun way to practice giving advice, with real information. Another thing I did, we had this exercise, we were talking about dating and kind of personal ads. And I had all the students write a personal ad, this is how old I am, I like walks on the beach, and dancing, and that's kind of fun to get personal information. And then we would collect them and then try to guess, I'd read them and we'd guess who they were, which was kind of fun. So I've done different things with cards. One thing that's important is humor, using humor in the classroom, and a lot of teachers definitely use humor to keep the atmosphere relaxed in the classroom, and I use humor a lot too, and I like to have fun, in the classroom. It doesn't seem like it, right now, as I do these videos, but I do like to, to have fun in the classroom. I have a dry sense of humor, but it's there somewhere. Some teachers use slang, a lot of slang, like what's up, and hey dude, and you're a party animal, and students kind of like that as well. They're always interested in the slang. I don't really do that a lot myself, but other teachers do that. And another aspect here is that students don't really tend to ask a lot of questions or raise their hand that much compared to American students. American students tend to ask questions and raise their hand. So as a result, we have to generally pick on students and ask them individually a question, or to really get them to participate. And okay, going to the classroom comparisons, student interactions, page 135. Another idea with pictures that I like is, and I've seen this, where one student has a picture and they describe the picture to their partner, and their partner has to draw it. And it could just be circles and triangles, or it could be like a park setting, and that's very effective. And I've seen, we have a picture, two pictures that have differences, like 10 differences between the two pictures, and I've seen that used for speaking practice, discussing. I haven't seen that a lot, but I thought that was a good idea as well. And another one is there's a story with 8 pictures, and you give one student pictures 1, 3, 5, 7, and you give the other student pictures 2, 4, 6, 8, and they kind of take turns continuing the story. I've never seen that done, but that sounds like a typical sort of information gap activity. I've seen maps where 2 students will have the same map, but like a lot of information's missing on each of their maps, like the gym or the bookstore or the street names. And the students have to talk together and try to describe, what the stores are on the map. And that's another information gap activity. I've also seen, like a schedule, take like a daily schedule, and again, like give 2 students, it's the same schedule, but a lot of information's missing, and they have to ask each other questions and negotiate the meaning to try to figure out how to fill in the chart. We talked before about 2 students just discussing grammar, discussing a grammar exercise, discussing the rules, which kind of is a way of combining a focus on form with genuine communication. And that would tie in a little bit maybe with peer editing and peer feedback, where you would have, like after a presentation, you might have the students give some feedback to the presenter as to what they liked and what they didn't like, I guess. But students generally hesitate to say what they don't like, but they might be able to say what they like and maybe something else that could be improved. And that's done with essays as well. Okay, that's the end of part 3.